y'all. Like, what's happening?
They
You
said,
got
what the?
Oh, I forgot they haven't been on these yet.
They literally said, what the fuck?
Judge Niara done. What's up, y'all? Welcome back. This is season 2 of the Black and Empowered podcast. We are back. We are still black. We are so happy to be here and so very empowered. This podcast is dedicated to talking about all things black. We focus on empowerment. We focus on conversations that families have with their kids about what it means to be black. We talk about thriving in spite of experiencing racial stressors. We're going to be highlighting a ton of research. You guys hopefully know my name and my voice by now. I'm Dr. Aisha Metzger. I am joined by my lovely co-hosts, Brianna Spivey and Letitia Swigert, who are our grad students in the Empower Lab at UGA. With this new semester now, we are introducing 2 brand new co-hosts, 2 brand new grad students. They are my graduate students at State. So Georgia State University, where I am now an assistant professor in the community psychology program. So we are really excited about today's episode. We are going to be introducing our 2 new students. I wish y'all had video so y'all could see them cringing right now. But we will be talking and introducing our 2 new students today. And y'all don't know. So the first thing we usually do, I think we've done this before, just casually, is the song association game. Brianna ready to go.
They look like they don't know. I'm ready. I'm gonna win this time. New season, I'm ready, baby.
Are you ready? Okay, so.
Ooh, she sound like a dragon.
You guys, I'm so excited about this new season. Letitia is usually the one who gets stage fright at this point in the show, but she seems like she's ready to go. So we're going to
points. I want to win.
Let's get these points. I haven't thought about a word. Okay, so y'all know how to play Song Association Challenge, though, right? We're gonna like Russian roulette it. No. Okay. New season, new instructions.
It's just these young kids. These young kids
That's
don't
why
know
I'm
nothing.
like, how you don't know how to play Song Association? What?
They young, child.
They young.
Hey,
We're the same age.
We literally are.
Y'all young, like I said.
Y'all babies, and you don't know. So we'll show you guys how it's done. It's very easy. So we're just going to basically call somebody out. Us 3 will start, so it's not that unfair for y'all. And then the person who calls somebody else out says a word, and the person who they call out has 10 seconds to sing a song that has the word in either the lyrics or the title. Okay. You can think of whatever words you want. You can call whoever you want. So.
Wow, I was talking all that shit and now I'm getting worried. It's fine. I'm ready.
Letitia good, right? She doesn't get nervous. She gets stage fright. So it's me and Brianna going for blows right now. I'm really feeling I'm winning. But we're gonna start a new count. So look at her face.
That's not true. But we're gonna start with season 2 from scratch. Okay, go.
Who going first?
You.
I got a word. Can I call somebody with a word?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna call mommy. The word is karaoke.
The word is karaoke. We're doing karaoke.
I mean, I had a song in my head already.
You had a song? So we need new rules. These need to be black people songs since it's Black and the Power podcast. I feel like her song ain't black.
Okay, first of all, I have a wide range of music interests.
This song karaoke by Drake, but I don't know how it goes.
That's what I was thinking.
Drake karaoke, but
Your 10 seconds are up. That's crazy.
I totally lost that because you just told me to use xylophone in a song. Like what?
Man, come on.
Bet. That's. I was thinking Drake.
Wait, I have a question. So if one person doesn't get it, does it go to like somebody else the same word or is it a new word?
We just start over.
Wait.
What are the rules again? Can we say it or do we have to sing it? Like, can you
You
have
have to
just said
sing it.
karaoke by
You
Drake?
gotta say
You
it.
gotta sing
Oh,
it.
okay. I couldn't remember. It's been a minute.
Because a
Okay.
lot of times it can be the title, but this word isn't actually in the song. So you
You
have
right,
to
you right,
sing
you
it.
right.
Oh,
Okay.
Sing a
okay.
part of the song. How does that song go? And I swear I must like
We can
it.
start over.
She
You
said, I
know what?
swear
That
I
was
must like
kind
it.
of a hard song. I mean, a hard word. We can start over. We can. We can redo.
Rewind.
How about 5 seconds if you have to try again? I'm gonna do it fast if I have to. Give me a word.
Oh, okay. Me? Give you
A
another
normal
word?
word. Yeah.
Okay. Door.
I was about to do something crazy. Coming up on our door. We've been waiting for you. Yours and yours is 372. There has to be another word. Okay, Letitia came hard today, or maybe my brain. That was hard. Okay, but y'all got how it goes, right?
Yes.
Okay, I'm a guinea pig. I'm gonna pick a word, and I want to give my word. Are y'all ready? If I pick one of y'all? Okay. I want y'all to hear the singing voice of Ashanti. Your word is. I have a song I want you to sing. Your
What?
word is diary.
Just think of me as a page in your diary.
Come on.
Yeah.
Hey.
Oh,
Yes, that's what I want. Hey, Keys at Throwback Alicia.
throwback. Okay, let's see who's spicy. Let's see. I'm gonna pass it to Bree. Your word is crazy.
Crazy.
Mhm.
Crazy in love. Got me looking so crazy. Got me looking so crazy in love. Hey. Uh-oh.
Ooh, that's for her. Ooh, we have another Kiki episode. Y'all gotta know that's relevant. Let's go. Subscribe to our Patreon. We'll talk about it there later.
Not Patreon. It's the way it's happening again. Because I knew the song and I couldn't sing it. It's happening again. It's happening
Are
again.
you blanking out?
I can't work under pressure. I'd be like,
Oh, she's nervous, y'all.
She is nervous. Tisha, this word for you.
oh Jesus.
Club.
Oh wait, okay, you can do "Love in This Club" by Usher, right? But I can't think of how it goes. It go. Not she counting. Hold on. We sang this in the car before. I can't.
Letitia.
Literally, all you gotta say is, I want to make love in this club.
I couldn't think of
In the
that. It's
club.
the pressure. I can't. As soon as it's over, I can sing the whole
For
song.
me. I'm out too. Oh, I got mine. I got like a half point.
Yeah, you
All right.
got yours.
Well, hold
So
on.
do
Can you give Niara? Who
I was
has
gonna
it?
say, do I do Niara?
You do Niara.
Yeah. I think, yeah, that makes sense too.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay. Heart.
Heart. Can it? Okay. Can it be hearted or has to be heart? Can it be a variation of heart?
Hey, we could do variation.
We'll give you a variation.
I don't want to be without you, babe. I don't want to
Oh.
broken
Oh
heart.
yeah.
Oh, okay, I know that.
Breath without you, babe. Okay.
I want to play that five. Come on. Let's go. Great one. And it had heart. You did it. All right. So three out of 5 ain't bad. Good job, y'all. We're gonna continue going with our next segment. It is Black X and Long.
Y'all, so it was a little difficult trying to find Black excellence, but what I decided to do was I wanted to give a shout out to Young Baby Tate, because Young Baby Tate really is that girl. She is, so let me tell y'all what happened. So she performed at Afro Punk in Atlanta last weekend, and she performed as young baby Tate, and people was hating on her body, and she is a great reflection of body positivity and body norms. Young baby Tate don't have no BBL. She has a natural body, and she's very proud of her natural body. So we're gonna give our young black excellence shout out to young baby Tate. Period.
I would like to.
Confused.
Hello, I would like to slide one in there because this reminded me. Young Baby Tate and my sister know of each other because my sister makes music and she's performing at Rolling Loud this coming festival. Her name is Sherelle. You can find her on all streaming platforms.
Go.
And Young Baby Tate just made me think of that. Period.
Whoa, whoa,
Period.
whoa. Instagram. You know I like the Instagram. Instagram.com/what?
By so BY and then Sherelle CHERELE. And you can see we look just alike.
Let me see if she got it.
Mhm.
ELE. There she is.
Also,
and
side
she back.
note, shout out to my best friend. She gonna be dancing at the BET Hip Hop Awards. It ain't aired yet, but when y'all see it on October 5th at 9 p.m., y'all gonna see her. Period.
Let's go, Ashley_be yourself on Instagram.
Okay.
Period.
Period.
Damn. Oh yeah, by Sherelle just got a new follower named Dr. Aisha Metzger. We love. Okay. Can I follow her? I know you don't, I know you got
What?
boundaries.
You follow all my friends. What are you talking about?
Don't act like you ain't got me blocked on Twitter.
Now that was a very specific reason, and we cannot even discuss that on this podcast.
Rolling on into our next segment.
That Twitter does not even exist anymore.
Oh, really? I wouldn't know. All right, there we go. I'm proud of you. Okay, so now we're getting into.
You're going to jail, and then you're going to hell.
Is it moi or yo? Letitia, you gotta leave. Moi or two? Look, y'all, the Spanish is popping.
You mixing Spanish and French.
Maybe.
Y'all or two.
Joe is I. You would want to say me.
Exactly. This girl.
Wow, Wes, leave that in because that's a mess. Yo is definitely I. Y'all, I haven't taken. Okay, Spanish is
You need
hard.
to download Duolingo. Try again. Go ahead.
Come on, let's get a sponsor for this podcast. And then maybe I will.
Oh my gosh.
Letitia, introduce your little sisters.
Yes,
Take it away.
we have little sissies. We have new sissies. We have, well, I guess I'll say both y'all at the same time and then we can take turns. Okay, so we have Ashanti Brown and we have Niara Carrenard. And so we want to introduce y'all to the listeners. So talk about fun facts, how we know each other, family background, like how you got to grad school, that whole story spiel thing. It's Carrenard?
Yeah.
Damn. Rewind.
Oh yeah, with the phonetics. I mean, you got.
I've always been saying it that way.
I said it because
I didn't hear you say
I
it.
think I said it that way because mommy said it that. We always said it like that.
Yeah.
never ever said Carrenard.
I've
never heard
never
Carrenard.
said that.
I'm
That's
taking full
crazy.
responsibility. That's on me.
Yep.
That's
Well, I fucked up.
I'll take it. Carrenard.
But
Y'all,
no,
she hates.
Carrenard.
Wait,
Carrenard.
Carrenard.
Yes.
Carrenard.
Okay, I was definitely saying Carrenard.
No, damn, that's some country ass shit. That's embarrassing.
Carrenard. Look at me. I like that better too. That's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, I like that better. I like that. Okay, wow, that's crazy. Okay,
Niggas,
redo.
niggas, I tell you. Yikes.
Okay, let me. Yikes. Okay. Okay, guys, we got new sissies. So we got Ashanti Brown and the.
Now you about to call her Niara now. That's foul.
I was focusing so hard on getting the name right that it switched over to your first name. I'm going to hell immediately.
Listen, I'm gonna have to cut the whole 20 minutes out the video.
No, first of all, we're keeping all of this in because this is a demonstration of how not to commit a microaggression. Assume we was like, nah, we just don't call her Carrenard, or we just don't
No,
show
we
her.
gonna keep going until I get this shit
Yeah, we
right.
don't call her Niara Kari.
Hard.
You know what? I'm gonna
Not
switch it
to
around.
commit a
I'm gonna do
microaggression.
Niara first. I'm gonna do Niara
Right.
first so I can get it right in my head. Okay.
Oh.
Okay, I'm ready. Okay, y'all, we got new sissies. So we got Niara Carrenard and Ashanti Brown. So we're going to introduce them to the listeners so y'all can get to know them. So I guess let's start off with like a easier one. So what is fun facts about both of y'all?
Well, hey y'all, I'm Ashanti Brown. I'm the newbie here. I guess a fun fact about me is I'm a lover of life. I love to travel. I love all things pink. I love all things glitter, all things Beyonce, and my spirit animal is a butterfly. Thanks for having me on the show, loves.
Stan.
You're Brianna's soul sister through the butterfly.
It is.
Beyonce connects us all. Literally, you're not allowed in the lab unless you do so. We let it fun pick.
Okay. Hi everyone. I'm Niara Carrenard. I'm the other newbie here. Fun facts about me. I'm fluent in Haitian Creole and I am an MMA fighter, which is very fun. So, thanks for having me as well.
Period. We bust heads in the lab. I know that's right. Oh, right. My turn. Okay. So I guess we could start off. Should we start off with like family background? And then like, yeah, because I think that would transition well into like your trajectory in the grad school. So yeah, I guess like a cute little we did a little cute stuff, but like, a little intro all about me. Like that.
Oh, let's see. All about me. Well, I'm born and raised in from Stone Mountain, Georgia. I'm an only child. So I never left Georgia, always been here, always proud to be from here. Period. East side's where it's at. Let's see. I went to Georgia State for undergrad, completed in 2019. And now I'm back. Like I never left. Excited to be diving finally into my research interests, Black mental health disparities, and also what else about me? A little life trajectory.
Oh brother.
Oh,
Did
Niara
you
is my
come
long lost sister.
did you come straight out of undergrad? What you do? How you get here?
Yeah, so after I completed undergrad in 2019, took a year off, got my stuff together, built my research interest, and then I went into my first year of the PhD program. Mm-hmm.
And you worked with a friend of the podcast. This is a little bit of what we want to talk about, like how we know each other. You worked with Dr. Sierra Carter at Georgia State while you were
Hey
there.
Sierra. Hey girlie.
No.
Hey, friend.
Yeah, so we always are gonna find a way back to each other, right? So I did work with Dr. Sierra Carter. I worked across research, community, and clinical settings to just improve on my CV. Bree, I met Bree in the summer before I came here because I was just a curious little being, always asking her questions before I applied for the lab. And so we was already sisters before the jump. She just didn't know it yet. And then when I finally came, I finally met my last sister, Tisha, and we here. It's up and it's stuck. I'm not going nowhere.
Period.
Life is good. I'm in a program. I got all my support with me. Great.
Oh, we do need to talk about that. I'm glad you said life is good. We're gonna give them some hope at the end of this because you are in your first year and that's an anomaly. Life is usually struggle busted. So we're gonna have you get
We didn't experience that. We was in the front seat of the struggle bus. Okay.
well, you were in Athens. She's in Atlanta. So
That's
qualitatively,
not why we was on the struggle bus.
however, right, life be life, and especially first year, I do feel like that's the year where
Please.
blows that need to be thrown, leftover blows come jabbing at you, early ones for the transition. So yeah, we're gonna have to talk about some tips for success. But I do want to talk to Niara.
Hi, it me. Um, so I was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. I miss home. Brooklyn, New York. I'm from New York. Y'all can hear it. I don't sound like I'm from the South because I'm not. I was raised. Oh, this might be a little too much information. I was raised by my moms, me and my mom. I'm also an only child. Um, I am Haitian American, first generation. I graduated from Hunter College with my bachelor's in 2017. And then a month before applications were due for grad programs, I decided to get a master's and just did it. Got my master's from Teachers College, Columbia University, and graduated in 2019. Took a year off. And then during the year off, I was like, all right, it's time to go back to school, get this together. And I applied to two PhD programs only because I was like, you know what? If I don't get into either one, then that's God. I'll give it to God at this point. And now I'm here. Oh, also, fun fact again, I have a podcast as well. It's called Growing Gardenias. It's about self-love and mental health tips and just stuff that we don't like to talk about amongst each other that's awkward sometimes or just uncomfortable. Growing Gardenias. Yeah, that's me.
You need to put me up on there. I was
I
just
will,
thinking, I got some good stories.
um yeah, I'm also interested in like Black mental health, specifically racial and intergenerational trauma and its effect on PTSD outcomes. Also, just reducing the stigma in the Black community and kind of developing interventions that target the needs of Black Americans, and now more recently, after meeting with mom, Haitian Americans, because I also want to focus on that as well. So, yeah.
Yeah. So when I was in grad school, I was very interested in within group differences. So absolutely, if that's a personal interest of yours, we love to talk about personal and professional research interests. And research is often research. So within group differences amongst Black Americans, amongst Black folks across the diaspora, amongst different levels of generations. We're going to dive into it all as much as you're interested in. And I love how y'all say y'all took a year off, but really didn't take any time off because you were working. So you were working with Dr. J or Dr. Miriam Jernigan, who's also a dear friend of mine.
Yes. I found her on Instagram because I am a stalker and I was looking for people who was doing work in the Black community. And I was like, oh, let me just try and reach out. And I'm like, hi, I want to apply to PhD programs, but I need more experience. And I got an interview, and then it was history from there. And then also, while I was doing that, I was working at a rape center at Columbia, which is where I graduated from, trying to get some like clinical experience working with those populations. So yeah, and now I'm here with my sisters and mom.
I love that your podcast talks about mental health and balance and self care. That's so important, especially as we can see, right? We all have research interests. We're all super duper busy with what we're doing in terms of classwork, whether that's teaching, TAing, or being students in your first and third years. All of our clinical work that we're interested in, either as an apprentice, as therapists right now. Letitia got 99 people on her caseload. Um, as right a supervisor or somebody who's doing workshops and trainings, it is something that we have to keep in mind in terms of how can we maintain our sanity while also maintaining some sense of productivity or feeling like our work is, let me not say or, and right, feeling like our work is able to contribute to society and benefit those populations that one, we most care about, but two, are often marginalized in research and clinical care. Um, so I'm glad that you're doing that work. I'm glad that you started this podcast way before you even met us, so people can see, right? Like this is passion that people have before they even get into PhD program. This is work that you need to be doing. So for both of you guys, you were doing work after you got your bachelor's degree and getting research experiences and building your vocabulary. So now you can see, right? Y'all hear when they just introduce their research interests, they are articulate. You guys are developing your program of research. I'm so proud. Oh my goodness. And now, right, we're able to cross collaborate between UGA and Georgia State and really make sure that our impact is crossing over at least, you know, between these two cities and across the perimeter. And then, you know, one day we're going to take over the world with healing from racial trauma. So, anything else you guys wanted to talk about in terms of introducing yourself, self care, what your interests are?
I want to hear, well, that might be for later. I want to hear them talk about their first year so far.
So far, yeah. And how you've been surviving. Ashanti was smiling and said that things are going great, Niara. I know that you've been back and forth. So yeah, tell your story about
Yeah, because me and Bree want to compare notes, honey. I want to know.
Well, I'll go first. I'll bring the positivity. um, I'll say for me, every day is a push, but every day I'm closer to my dream self. So I like to just show up as her anyways. I think applying during COVID was a lot, to say the least. But at the same time, I can also give it like a silver lining because that's when everything around me froze and I had more time to just get my stuff together. And I guess with like preparing with that mindset, I knew this program wasn't going to be easy at all. It's definitely not for the weak. Shoot, it's barely for the strong, but I will say, I will say my time here, what, 6 weeks or 7 weeks so far, has been up and down. I'm not about to sugarcoat like no happy go lucky experience because that's not what it is. But I think at the end of the day, it really depends. Like it really matters how you approach the adversity in the program because there's normal hardship and there's like, whoa, this shit is insane. I don't think I've hit that point yet personally, but I will say sticking to like my self-care regimens, going to the gym, making sure I eat like when I'm supposed to eat, reaching out to my support team, my loved ones, it keeps me grounded. Because at the end of the day, yeah, we're students, but we're not 24/7 around the clock. I think it's very important to remember that at the end of the day, you are an individual and you are a special individual before you came into the program. So I guess keeping that in mind helps me stay grounded, even when I'm really down and out for a week doing schoolwork. So I'll say that.
Yeah. And earlier this week, you said that you felt like you were jamming 80 hours of work into a 40-hour work week. Could you talk about what that experience has been like in kind of your first?
Yeah. I'll say this is the most demands I've ever had from anything in life. Just to be transparent, like everything has usually come very easy for me. So to be like aware of different hats to be pulled in different directions is very new to me. Um, so finding 48 hours of demand to do in 24 hours was a challenge. So again, I'll go ahead and just advocate when you are in grad school, pick a mentor that's going to help you like level up because that's what we did in our last mentorship session. Pretty much just scheduling and learning how to balance your life with schoolwork. I think when you finally get that groove and that pattern and finding out what works best for you, that's how you can truly thrive in the program. Do I have it all together yet? No, not at all. But hopefully by there's no telling next year or even the year after that, I'll have a little bit more experience under my belt where I'm not so disheveled and down and out. So I'll just say that.
Not disheveled at all. I want y'all to know this girl has when she talks about her calendar, this thing is color coded. It has all of her classes, it has all of her meetings, it has the time that she's going to be spending doing homework as well as reading for class and her own personal research and her fellowship applications and the papers that she's writing for other people. So it is a tremendous amount of stuff to manage in your time and your day. And what you're saying is absolutely right. I love your little self-care toolbox. Those were absolutely critical and important things that, especially when you're in grad school, look at this cat in the screen, y'all. Especially when you're in grad school, it's so important to make sure, right, that you are, you said eating, but I mean, and Brianna, the teacher, will tell you this. Sometimes people got to call and just say, hey, have you gone to the bathroom today? Right? So just making sure that you are taking care of yourself, that you are finding that balance while trying to cram in so much work into what else it is that you have to do. So Niara, how has first year been for you?
Well, it's
Or maybe you should start from before first year. So you can tell them how our bamboozled you. You told a little bit. You were planning on going to UGA. You came early.
yes. So I came to Athens May 25th from Brooklyn, New York, alone without my family. But
Wow.
I was supposed to go to UGA. Found out we had an option of UGA or GSU. I was going to stay at UGA, but then it was getting a little difficult. I'll just say that. So then I decided to go to GSU. So part of that transition was looking for places in Atlanta, which was not easy, difficult, hot mess. Um, so I found a place in Atlanta, and it just, yeah. So fun fact, oh, another fun fact about me, I am very afraid of cockroaches, and that's just something I can't deal with. So that apartment was just a no-no because it was like a lot, like the big flying one. So that was a no. So long story short, I decided to stay in Athens. I'm staying in Athens and I am commuting when I have to campus. So that was kind of the rough start for the first year, stressing me out. Trying to figure out where I'm gonna live. Am I gonna be homeless? Then I had an issue with the leasing office that I'm with now, and this apartment. It's just been a mess. Let's just say it like that. It's been a hot mess. However, schoolwork wise, it hasn't been too bad. It's definitely picking up. We're week 6 now. I definitely have to shout out my lab sisters. They definitely check on me. Ashanti especially asks me almost every day if I ate today because I do not eat properly. And Ashanti's like, sis, did you eat today? And usually the answer is no. But I'm working on that. And just in terms, I can kind of echo the same thing that Ashanti was saying. You really kind of have to have a balance because you can very easily drown if you're not on top of things. And similar to her in our last mentor session, we kind of went over my schedule, what I'm going to be allocating my time to. And that was really helpful. So just kind of staying on top of like assignments and readings and research and just giving myself the space to like do all these things and also sleep, make sure I'm eating, attempting to take care of myself. Right now, self-care for me is literally just finding time to watch Grey's Anatomy and going to Target. Like that has been the highlights of my weekends, going to Target. I love Target because Target has everything. Or at home with the decor. That's what I really love. So that's my self-care right now. And yeah, I'm just trying to stay afloat and just trying to stay on top of everything. But I will say, I definitely am really happy that I chose GSU because it's just been things have slowly been falling into place. Even with our cohort is amazing there, and we all really support each other. Our professors are great, and it's just been a great experience. Minus the difficulties, the rough start. It seems like everything is aligning now, and I also just have the belief like everything works out for me either way. So like where I am right now is exactly where I'm supposed to be, and it was supposed to happen this way. Like this is part of my testimony. I'm gonna talk about this one day. Like, ooh, it was a struggle, but I'm here. I'm taking my classes. I'm doing well, and I got to meet all these amazing people. Shout out to the lab family. So yeah, it's been difficult, definitely, but things are falling into place, and I'm staying on top of things, trying my best. And so just I guess a tip for like grad school when you're actually in it is definitely make sure that you are still prioritizing like your mental health and your physical health as well. And just kind of staying on top of things and don't hesitate to reach out for support if you need it. Cause there's been times where I called Ashanti like, yeah, I need you to talk to me or something because I'm about to lose it. Even with Brie and Tisha, I'm like, yeah, I'm not having a good day right now. I'm very upset. So yeah, I would just say that reach out to your support system. They're there for a reason. And yeah, you got this.
I'm gonna just say, you don't prioritize your mental health, you're gonna end up in the grippy socks, baby. I was laughing when she said that. Prioritize it, okay? We'll probably talk. We need a whole episode to talk about dates.
I love y'all so much. Do y'all have so it sounds like scheduling, eating, what checking in with your people, have people who can remind you of your strengths, who can help support you. What else do we have for first years? Brianna and Letitia, y'all
I
remember me in
feel
first.
like something I started doing recently, like because you be so busy first year, by the time you get home and like eat and do whatever you need to do, like it's time to go to sleep. You know what I'm saying? And then when you wake up, you're just waking up to go somewhere. And so I started waking up earlier so that I could have like an hour or two to do what I wanted to do. Like even if you come home and like relax and eat, like that's taking care of yourself in like a I don't know the word for it, practical way. But I also feel like you need time to like just spend with yourself. So I started waking up early just so I could do like what I wanted to do. Like I feel like there's a difference between like the everyday like showering and eating, like that's practical stuff of caring for yourself. But I also feel like you should be able to spend time for yourself and have like an hour to be like, okay, what do I want to do in this hour? So I wake up earlier now so that I can like ease into my mornings and just like spend time with myself. That's a new thing I've been doing.
I had no idea. What time do you wake up now? Y'all, this is a nap queen. This sleep mama right here.
I wake up at 6:30
Every
and I
day.
be up. Yep, I be up out of my bed doing stuff.
Wow, I'm shook. Is the sun out at 6:30?
No,
It's dark
but
still.
I like it because I'm just like anxious in general and I get very overstimulated. So I like waking up when the sun isn't up and when people aren't up because it feels, this is going to say I'm not very neurotypical, but it feels like quieter to me. Like, I don't know, something about knowing that everybody else is still asleep and not moving around, it just makes me feel like calmer and quieter. So I like it. Yeah, I be
I'm
up.
shook. Wow. Do you still take naps during the day?
I take naps, but Brie will tell you, my longest naps be like 45 minutes. I don't even be asleep for that long. I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna go take a nap in the lab, and then I come back and then I start doing my work.
Wow. Come on, self-care. I love that.
Hmm.
6:30. I know y'all not gonna catch me before 9. 6:30. That is beautiful.
Well, part of that wasn't my fault. It was the schedule that I had got on when I was locked up, and then I just kept it. Yeah.
Right, and you got other sleep things going on. So yeah, you up. That's awesome. I'm glad you like it though. I'm glad that it's been benefiting you. Bree, what you got? I know you got some gems over there.
Um, as far as like navigating first year, I think major things for me were similar to what Ashanti and Niara were saying, but like really depending on your support system. Which I know like Niara, you're far from home, and so like reimagining what your support system looks like here. So like being able to have your at home support system, but also having one here is also very important. Um, I think also being honest when you're struggling. So like I feel like a lot of times people feel like they can't do that or they feel like it looks bad because the other people around them aren't doing it. So being able to be honest and say like, "Hey, I'm having a hard week," or "Hey, I wasn't able to get something done," and being honest about that. Um and then I think just overall continuing to know that it's gonna be hard. Like you're just gonna have to grow through the process, and so like there are gonna be moments that are gonna test you every day, and you just have to figure out how you're gonna grow through those moments. And also like figuring out how to compartmentalize. So some stuff you can't take home with you, like you need to leave it at school and like leave it wherever you are and be able to go home with a clear heart and a clear mind. And so like Tisha's doing with like having days where or having time where she gets up early to take care of herself. Like I've started to take Saturdays off. So I don't work on Saturdays at all. Like no work, no school, no laptop, no none of that. And for me, it gives you a break between the like constant goal cycle of being in school. So I think just being able to find a break, even when it feels impossible, and realizing the work will get done and it'll always be there, but it's not going to get done and be there if you're not there to do it. So remembering that. So yeah, they got it. This week 6, y'all got about 50 more, 60 weeks. Child, they got a long way. I'm talking about 50 more 60, but they got
500,000 weeks.
okay, sheesh.
Those are also important. Come on, bloom where you're planted. That's giving me magnolia. I like all of those strategies. They're so look at y'all cringe. But
You tried to make me use that as my signature first year, but I never did.
which bloom where you're
Bloom
planted?
where you planted. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love
Period.
that. I
That's
love
a
that.
signature.
Mm-hmm. I think like I don't know. I think that well, I was gonna say because me and Bree, we'd be like, what do they be doing over there? Because y'all always look really great, and so I feel like you can't
We did though.
tell that you be no. We really be like, what are they doing over there at Georgia State? Because I was looking busted. So I
But when you
feel
think
like
about it, we were looking like that before shit. Our stuff got crazy. Cause remember, she's always be like, "Oh, you so bright and shiny. You so whoopty
oh
whoopty whoop."
yeah.
So
And
enthusiastic
then
and chipper.
yeah, and
But
then we
I feel
lost it.
like yeah, I was gonna give y'all the compliment that like you can't tell, which I think is still a compliment. But then I was also thinking like it's okay if you can tell too. Like I think it's okay. Like if you having a rough time and you just people can tell you having a rough time, that's all right. Because everybody in the program is gonna have that. So I feel like that's okay. I feel like that's just being like honest and transparent.
You know
But
what I
yeah,
think?
I'm having a hard time. Hmm?
I think when you're in your first year, everybody gets there and everyone's struggling, but everyone still looks this way until one person says, "Ooh, Lord, I'm tired," and then everyone will immediately just, "Me too. It's getting so hard." I think it's gonna be one straw that breaks that camel's back, and then we're gonna be like, "Oh, you guys have been holding on to a thread for so long." But
Yeah.
certainly, what I will say is that you guys are practicing self care, and that truly it sounds like something so simple, but that is what allows you to maintain. That's what prolongs and hopefully prevents burnout. Taking either a couple hours every morning. Ashanti, we have that built in your schedule, right? Where you're going to the gym. Letitia, I'm gonna set my alarm one of these days at 6:30. I'm gonna surprise you. That is, and not even with the call. I'm just gonna say something so peaceful and beautiful because that is so inspiring to know. Brianna, Saturdays, come on, leave your computer closed. It's what you need to do to be able to maintain your sanity. Niara, you know I'm gonna be asking you when your uncle coming to visit, when your cousins coming to visit, when you going back to New York. That is just as important as being on this same grind and learning everything you're learning in class and making sure that you can continue going to class and maintain your sanity while doing that as well. But you're right, Letitia, they are every time bright, shiny, cheeks on gloss, hair on fleek. Like, yes,
I thought y'all wasn't doing nothing. I was like, what are they doing?
are they working? They overwhelmed. They are overwhelmed. They're doing a lot. Don't let the shine
And
fool.
We
We
and
appreciate
I
are.
the
think it just
compliment though.
and I think it just speaks to the point of like when people ask you how you doing, you can be honest and say, like when we got on this call, it was like, "How you doing? I'm tired. Like I'm not. That's just what it is. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like being able to be honest about that because then at that point you're not hiding the feelings. And I feel like we do that a lot where we just naturally say we're good when we're not. And so being able to say like, hey, or being thoughtful in your response. So when people are asking you how you're doing, saying like, I'm actually not doing well today or whatever, like, and even being intentional in that way. Cause I know like for me, my friends will do like things where we intentionally are like, okay, no, really like, how are you doing? Not the generic response, but like, how are you doing? And so being able to have those conversations with each other, with whoever, so you can unload, because if you don't, it's all gonna pile up. So
I think as a lab, we've learned that, especially like, all right, we just gonna have to have another episode about it. But it would I just go ahead. So I was hospitalized like a month ago, 1013 against my will. And so I was doing the thing where I was like not okay, but then wasn't saying that. And then so I was like, by the way, I'm in the hospital. And everybody was like, what the hell? And so I feel like our lab has been very intentional about like, no, how are you doing? So every time I come in, Bree's usually there before me. Every time I come in the office, we have our little check in about how are you doing. And I know, even though she just says like, how are you? I know it's like a no, how are you type of thing. So I feel like that'll be a whole separate episode. But I do think like I think sometimes that I felt that, let me tell you something. If y'all have ever struggled with mental health, you get tired of being the mental health friend. Okay. You be tired of being the one who feel like you don't have it together. And I feel like that's still normal. So especially like in the program that we're in the field we're in, like if you're not okay, like that's fine. And so I think sometimes people will worry about like what other people are thinking or like what their perception is. But life is hard, bro. And so like if you're having a hard time, you're just having a hard time. So I feel like being intentional about like if you're not okay, even if it's just like one or two people that you talk to about that, I think it's very important to have that. So that's why I be up at 6:30, because that's what time we had to get up in the hospital, and then I just kept it because I thought it was a good idea. So then I just kept it. They switched my whole sleep schedule.
Wow.
So yeah,
So
we'll have a little episode about that later for the listeners.
we'll take a reset. We are trying to stick to it. We call it a tight hour today. So the next segment that we have is typically, have we done a research spotlight or is this the first one? This is our first research spotlight. So today we want to start by doing what we are going to be calling research spotlight. So if you follow us on Instagram, if you are familiar with our page, we have these research spotlights that we try to do on Fridays that talk about empirical peer-reviewed articles that have been published by either us or friends of the lab. And we summarize findings and we discuss relevance to community members and lay people in our population. So we want to, again, be able to give you empirical findings in a way that are easy to digest and that are really relevant and related to our interests here in the Empower Lab. So the first research spotlight that we want to do is to talk about a article that was published in 2016. This, I believe, was either my thesis or my dissertation when I was in grad school. I'm looking at it trying to determine, but it is on analyzing profiles of Black college students' alcohol use and sexual behaviors. So when I was in grad school, I was a sex, drugs, and rock and roll researcher, is what I used to think. So I was interested in externalizing behaviors and outcomes that lead to HIV, unintended pregnancies, and substance misuse. And with that, so in addition to looking at different patterns or profiles of these behaviors, I was also interested in looking at how these patterns of risky sex and alcohol use were related to stress that students were experiencing, as well as discrimination, so racial stressors and social support. So that's all of what we've talked about today, actually. So thinking about environmental stress, education stress, thinking about interpersonal relationships and how those are stressors that can lead to or certainly are associated with risky behaviors and maladaptive coping. So this is an article that, like I said, we wrote in 2016 to look at those associations.
So, with that kind of brief synopsis, we can talk a little bit more about the article. So, with the study, um, Dr. Metzger, aka Mommy, aka Aisha, and her friends basically, like she said, wanted to develop risk profiles based on um, college age students' alcohol use, their sexual activity, as well as any other risk behaviors that they may be engaging in while engaging in those activities as well. So this was done with 228 Black young adults. And then another goal was also just to look at whether stress, racial discrimination, social support influence these different risk behavior profiles. So, from the research, there was some differences in like age and reported levels of like interpersonal environmental stress between the different groups, but across gender, socioeconomic status, academic stress, social support, there weren't any major differences. And so we can talk a little bit more about the five profiles. So the first profile was a high sex risk profile. So this is where students typically reported engaging in greater risky sexual behaviors. So that means like having more sexual partners, and reported lower than average alcohol consumption. So reporting greater sexual risk, but reporting lower than average alcohol consumption. The next research or the next profile was abstainers. So these were students who met this risk profile because they reported lower than average rates of drinking alcohol, number of sexual partners, and drinking before sex. So these were the people who weren't really engaging in those risky behaviors, such as drinking, engaging with sexual partners, or drinking before sex. Um, the next one was low risk. So these were the people who were slightly lower than average rates of alcohol and sexual risk factors. So they weren't as high risk as the other group that I mentioned. The next one was the alcohol risk profile. So these were the students who reported frequently binge drinking, and also had a greater likelihood of engaging in drinking before sex. And they had a lower number of average like sexual partners. And then the final profile was this mixed co-occurring risk. So we talked about examining like risk behaviors and the co-occurring risk behaviors. So this is the final profile. So this is the group that kind of encompassed everything. So they had the high frequency of risky alcohol and sexual behaviors. So they engaged in greater alcohol consumption. They also engaged in binge drinking, and they also reported having greater than average numbers of sexual partners, and frequency during sex. So that was the five profiles. Um, so ultimately, this is great research. Of course, this provides information about the risk and stressors that come. Whoops, just kidding. I shouldn't be doing that. Ha 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 ha. Bye, bye, bye. I
Crazy
realized.
girl.
Sorry, I just be talking, y'all. Okay.
Bree has to go lead a group and be a clinician, so she's gonna leave us early. Thanks, Bree Bree.
Peace out, Girl Scouts.
Have a good
Y'all,
group.
Bye.
y'all see how hectic grad school is. So literally we said tight hours. She has another meeting that she has to log off for. So when we talk about, I think Letitia, you're about to discuss the findings. I just want to kind of explain them really quickly because I realized that we kept saying profiles, which is the type of analysis, but that we want to kind of tell people what the analyses mean. So when we talk about profiles, really what we're describing are patterns that exist in the population. So what Brianna just discussed is the fact that we could tell that amongst the individuals who took our surveys, that say we gave it to 200 people, amongst those 200 people, there were a specific subset of the population that looked similar in their risk behavior activity. So we could tell that there were some that were just having more frequent sex and having more sexual partners. We could tell that there were some groups who engaged in more frequent binge drinking and who consumed alcohol more frequently, as well as those kind of abstainers. So I think what was promising about this research is that when we talk about mixed risk, so those who were engaging in risky sex and alcohol use, that was only 4% of the population at, or of the sample at this time. So that was really encouraging. And then to see that I think low risk was like 30%, and almost 44% of emerging adults at the time that we collected this data were abstainers. So while we were able to identify those patterns, I think what Letitia is going to talk about is how we can tell that the patterns are associated with these behavioral outcomes that are important to us, so that we can then, right, determine how to intervene on our coping mechanisms or our coping processes in spite of these stressors that we might face.
Yes. So basically, the results supported, well, all of that, and the results supported this connection between risky alcohol use and sexual activity, which I feel like if we're gonna be translational, don't be lying. When you be at the party, at the function, and you have a little drinky drinks, you know that people be looking better than they are. Okay. And I know it be some instances, don't be lying, it be some instances where you wake up the next day and be like, damn, that's crazy. And that's basically what this is talking about.
That's the mixed risk co-occurring, right? Yeah.
And to position this, I guess, like in like our research, so we know that because of racial stressors, like Black college students are at a higher risk for being stressed out and not maybe coping in a healthy, positive way. And so that puts them at a higher risk for using alcohol and sex to cope. And so basically, it highlights the importance of examining things like this together because they're often co occurring or one can influence the other. And it can sort of help us alter our treatments or think about different treatment strategies and treatment approaches to sort of address those risky things. Because with risky behavior, like with risky sex, risky drinking, there's risk for sexually transmitted infections. There's risk for drinking and driving, having drinking like substance use problems. So all these things are things that we want to be thinking about. We think about the stress of college in general, but if you situate that within the Black population, it makes it a lot more stressful than it is for other people. Um, Mommy, did you feel like there were any other implications for that other than
No,
that?
I think you're absolutely right. I think that I actually like that you mentioned the Black student population, because I was describing this and talking about the patterns as if they are across groups. But again, yes, these were within group analyses, and that is to say, right, that we have this disproportionate risk for these interpersonal stressors, but also these racial stressors, and that's how it might be associated with our maladaptive coping. Um, I'll say I'm glad that you guys are coping in healthy ways. I'll say that, right? Thinking about how these experiences can impact us, we do need to be certain to continue using our coping skills, you see that we looked at social support and the protective role of that. So we need to make sure that we are engaging with our families, our friends, our new friends, our cohorts, maybe, right? So non-traditional people or new people, and just being open-minded to receiving support in the very different ways that we're going to now need support as you are transitioning in your careers and in your graduate education as well.
Okay. Well, Niara, Ashanti, any thoughts before we wrap up?
I'll just say I'm happy to be here. The love is always felt through this. Well, I won't even say lab. I'll just say this family. The year itself has been hard enough, so just to have y'all here through this like journey makes it all worthwhile.
And I'm also definitely just very happy to be here and happy to have met all of you. And in case y'all didn't know, y'all stuck with me forever. And I'm very
Period.
happy that this is definitely feels like home away from home, despite the rough beginning. So I'm happy to call y'all family. And yeah, thank you.
We love you.
Love y'all.
Thank you guys for joining us. Everyone who's listening, just know that they are going to be back. We're certainly going to also link Niara's podcast because we love sharing and amplifying good work that's being done in the community. And as you can hear, right, self-care is so important. So knowing that she's an expert in that and in mental health, and she's emerging in her research background pertaining to both of those areas, certainly, y'all, please listen out for that podcast. Please continue coming back here to join us for our podcast. I do want to remind everyone that if you have any questions, comments, concerns, we do want to do a mailbag episode. We do want to be able to answer questions at the end of our episode. So please send your questions to the empowerlab@gmail.com, and we'll do a Q&A as soon as we're able.
Oh wait, I was thinking. I think we should thank Dominique and Wes. So Dominique puts our episodes together. She organizes it for us because we just be running around like chickens with our heads cut off. And Wes is the person that makes it all cute and put together because we be up in here cussing, messing up. I said Niara's name wrong 50,000 times. We be having to run it back. So thanks, guys, because the podcast really wouldn't happen without them.
Yes, we love you guys. Dominique's our producer. Wes is our sound engineer. Ian as well. They introduced themselves on episodes this summer. So certainly, you guys, if you haven't checked out those episodes, go back and listen and get to know our team. Karen also has introduced herself in a recent episode. So we are really excited to be growing and to be able to continue this work. And we listen, could not. It's impossible. Even scheduling these podcast recordings wouldn't happen if it wasn't for Dominique and Wes and other people that we have. Oh, shout out to Liana. She's the one that puts this on our social.
Period. Y'all see our Instagrams, Liam. That's Liana, honey.
Yes, we love
Period.
our team. We love the work that we're able to do and have no idea how it would happen without you guys who are supporting us as well as our listeners. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for sticking around. Season 2, y'all, episode 1.
We did it.